All right, here we go. I'm just gonna get into it. Here we go. All right, we're going.
We're going. We're back.
We're on to trying to do P5.
Get
Shut.
that piece. Uh,
Wait,
hello?
what? Oh yeah, this is a thing. I could do this. I
Right,
remember
water walking.
this.
This is a thing you can do in this game. You're Jesus. I forgot.
Yeah.
So
You
Claire,
thought
what?
Anakin was Jesus. Let me tell you about Link.
He's Jesus. Everyone's Jesus. If you
Everyone
think
wants
about
a
it.
little bit of Jesus in them.
Yeah, we can say that. We're both very
Amen.
Christian, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, a Jewish person and an atheist walk into a bar. They're both Christian. Um,
It is a Christian bar after all.
yeah. God bless us, everyone. Pass me a drink. So, what speedruns have you seen that you can think of?
Oh, I
Claire?
totally did not think of this. That I've seen. I've seen. Now, here's the thing: is I've seen a lot of like mods. So I've like watched like there was like a fan mod of Celeste, the game, that the creator played, and streamed it, and I that wasn't even like a
Yeah.
speed run. That was just an entertaining.
That was a
I mean, it was very
Kaizo
good.
thing, right?
Yes, Yes, that's what I've
It's a
watched.
really good room.
Yeah, Kaizo. Kaizo runs are cool. They're really neat.
I've watched that for Mario too. Yeah, I've watched Kaizo Mario runs.
Yeah,
as
Kaizo Mario
well.
is really cool. I've not watched that many Kaizo speedruns, but I have watched Kaizo like gameplay. Kaizo runs, for those who may not know, are really, really hard versions of games. Not just really hard, but also like using
Unfair.
glitches in interesting ways. Like, or not just glitches, but like interesting
Right.
things. Like a kind of classic Kaizo level in Mario might look like a level where you have to constantly be bouncing on one of those shells that follows you.
yeah.
That's on
And that's
top of
easy.
of a bunch of spikes.
That's like an
And that's
easy
easy.
thing. Yeah,
That's like an easy thing, right?
compared to
But-
the rest of it.
Yeah, compared to the rest of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
Kaizo. You've seen some Kaizo. You've watched like the High Heat Hades stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of speed runs specifically that I've watched.
Have you ever watched the Breath of the Wild like any percent speedrun? Because it's a trip.
No.
That's a fun one to watch. Highly recommend that one. I don't know who's got the world record on that right now, but it's always just a fun run to watch. Yeah, Kaizo is very technical.
Yeah.
You gotta know how to do it, and you gotta execute on it perfectly.
I think that's why I like it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's true for speedrunning too, but I feel like it's a specifically different kind
Yeah.
where some speedrunning is like Kaizo, but not all speedrunning is like Kaizo.
yeah, 100%. A thing I was gonna say about Super Mario Brothers speedruns, really interesting because they're so optimized that it is rapidly approaching kind of month by month, year by year, the absolute limit of how quickly a human can complete that game. It is rapidly
Really?
approaching the point at which it will no longer be possible to
beat the
complete that
speed
game
record.
faster.
Wow.
The human
Wow.
limit. Let me.
Yeah,
see
because
if
I
can find the
imagine
human
there's
limit.
been like a machine. They've like measured this by having a machine do it.
Yeah, that's called TASes,
Yeah.
tool
I've-
assisted speedruns.
Yeah.
What
I
is the
imagine
human
at
limit
that
for
point
it?
you're just gonna get like, I don't know, your name on the list of people who have achieved the absolute best speed run. I feel like that's the way
Yeah.
to do it, right?
Yeah. So the fastest time possible
Wasted
in
jar.
Super Mario, the theoretical at least, human limit, the fastest time you can possibly have in Super Mario Brothers speedrunning is 4 minutes, 54 seconds, and 26 milliseconds. The world record set 22 days ago, 4 minutes, 54 seconds, 631 milliseconds. They are...
So what's the difference?
Difference is 400 milliseconds.
That's what
Okay,
happened, yeah.
cool.
They are half a second behind, less than half a
Christ.
second behind the absolute limit of what you can do.
Wow.
The current top 3 runners in this 3 runs, 4 minutes 54 seconds, 631 milliseconds. That's Nifsky who has that. Second, Trio 5, 4 minutes 54 seconds, 864 milliseconds.
That's just
and
200 more. That's just a fifth of a second more.
And Miniland behind him with 4 minutes 54 seconds, 914 milliseconds.
Literally a tenth of a second behind the person in front.
There are 5 runners who have achieved 4 minutes 54 seconds times.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're so close to the limit of what is humanly possible with every technique they've discovered.
He's busy with work. It's
busy with
usually
work.
only around, like, December or January.
That's when speedrunning season starts. Take my word for it.
Yeah.
Or don't take my word for it.
Take his.
Take Simple Dudes.
Take Simple Dudes.
Listen to Simple Dude.
Listen to
In
this
your
Simple
life, you need
Dude.
Simple Dude. Everybody needs Simple Dude in their life.
We do not know this man. We cannot
we
say
have
that.
no.
I have no man. I apologize
I
to
don't
this
know.
man. I've never
it's
met him.
a good username.
Yeah, it's a good username. God, instantly dead.
Amazing.
Dead.
Fuck. Jesus Christ.
Friend in the chat, I think it's Skyward Sword that has the back in time glitch where you change flags in the game by playing the game as it exists as the background for the title screen.
Right.
That's
yes.
incredible. I've never heard of
seen
this.
that. Yeah. I think
Can
that might
I
be
get a
one of
little
the
more
first...
on how that works?
I can't explain it, but I can explain, like, while Fen is probably explaining it better. I can, like, explain that you are at the title screen. Like, the title screen thing never goes away. The, you know, the logo and whatnot. But you're playing the game. But, like, you know how, like, when the title screen is like, look at these areas. That's where you are. I'm sure. I'm sure. Or I think that's true. Is that true? I'm just gonna wait until Fen explains it better. But, yeah, you basically get into title screen world.
We got the mass level up there, by the way. Just a bunch of level ups.
Yeah. How did that happen again?
It was the crystal thing. It was the same technique with the crystal.
Is that not a glitch?
This is not no major glitches. This is you have to do all keys.
Oh.
Like, also, even in no major glitches things, they do minor glitches. That's why it's called no major glitches, not no glitches.
Right. Is there a no glitches category?
No. There is no glitch. I mean, at a certain, because, and I actually know the reason why there aren't typically no glitches categories. Claire, can you definitively, in all cases, explain to me what is a glitch, what is an exploit, and what is just very effective play?
I would say an exploit is what you do to get a glitch to happen. So it's like, yeah, exactly. Thank you. And then, sorry, the third one was just really competent play.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I've defined exploit and glitch, lump them together. Bug, I would say, is like you are.
Could have gotten more time save.
It's not quite. And obviously, this is an impossible question to answer because people who have thought about this a lot longer than I have, which has been about 30 seconds. So I'm gonna do my best, and it's not gonna be a good answer. But I would say
yeah, that was kind of like the PB with the one encounter.
that. Yeah, that's.
Hey, Zelt. Good morning.
A lot of activity. I want to say something about like intentional flow of code. Like, for example, if you are manipulating where data goes intentionally, like in a way that you're causing you're using the
Yeah, I need a jar too.
technology that is being played on and not the game that is being played to change how the
Nice.
game is being played. Uh, yeah, something. There are smarter people who have done better
Could have been
analysis.
-20 right there.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna
Minus
pick on
15.
you a little bit
Right.
Please, yeah,
for purposes of making my point.
yeah.
You know that thing where in this game you can use a fairy to go through a keyhole, to go through a door, right?
Sure.
Is that a glitch? Is that a bug or is that intended
That's
play?
a bug. I feel
Is
like
it?
bug and glitch. Yeah.
Do we know that that's not intended play? Do you think you'd be
Yeah.
able to get an answer out of Nintendo to the question, is that intended play?
It's Nintendo Play.
Right, but do you think that you are a person who's setting up rules for a category?
Right.
Do you think you can go to Nintendo and get them to answer the question, is this intended play?
Is the fact that it is if you think about like the locked door as a concept in the game, and obviously now we're getting into strains of thought. Yeah, it's boring, I know. But the locked door is to keep you out, and there is an item in the game explicitly meant for you to be able to go through any door at any time. The fairy circumvents that specific design of the game that was not tested for, obviously, because bug testing is honestly not done enough. Pay your fucking QA staff. Holy shit. Even
Yes,
Nintendo
that's
is
true.
falling victim to this now. It's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I would. Like, I would. That is why. Is because, to me, and I'm sure there are harder examples to answer. To me, someone who has no say in what counts as a major or minor glitch in Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, think it is a glitch or a bug.
Sure, that's fair. It's a hell of a glitch and a bug for them to not catch them.
Yeah.
Why, is that something they put in there because, oh, fairy goes through keyhole? That's fun, that's interesting, right? Like, and
no.
this is like, the
Wrong
thing
button.
is,
There's that stupid fairy, dude. It's the same one from last run.
he's beefing with the fairy. It's great.
Don't do
It's
it,
great.
game.
Yeah, you
Don't
were saying
do it,
about the
game.
keyhole.
But yeah, no, there's that thing that I was
Hey,
saying.
Bad Bricks.
But like, the thing that I'm like thinking about is like, for example,
Yeah, I'm trying.
You know that-
73.
you know that thing in a platformer where they'll give you a little bit of extra time if you're jumping at the edge of a block.
Yes, yeah.
That part of design.
Celeste is
If you
like
use
one
that-
of the most popular for this.
Yes. If you use that to do a jump that the game would not
And
is
Assassin's
not
Creed.
laid out
It was
for you to
actually
do.
Developed in Assassin's Creed, or first like, I don't know
Yes.
if it's first thought of, but it was in like one of the Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It changed how that series played.
Yes,
I've never
100%.
played any of them. I just watched a video where one of the developers talked about it. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. But say you're in Assassin's Creed, right? And you use that to do a jump that is that allows you to like skip some content, or that allows you to even just to skip, it allows you to skip a platform. Not even necessarily content. It allows you to skip a platform
Sure.
that the game seems to be laying out for you.
What
Is that a glitch? Is that an exploit, or is that really efficient
time
play?
loss?
Right. I see what you're saying. You're saying right.
And
In
every game has like
Uh-huh.
dozens of these little things.
Right. Because this
That
is
how would you make a no glitches category?
Yeah. Because if you're designing for skill, like various skill levels to be able to play it, and you don't want to do easy, medium, hard, you give a
Yeah.
buffer. You give an amount of success buffer to the action. Specifically thinking about, like, I think the most obvious one to compare it to is the Mario and Luigi RPGs. Where
Yeah.
you press the button at the right time.
Yeah.
I
So,
feel like
like-
there's a way to answer this. I'm just gonna sit on it, but keep going.
But my point is just that like no major glitches categories are
Terrible.
usually like
Probably lost
targeted
all
at
the 10
certain
seconds.
glitches that massively change the way you play the game. No major glitches in Super Mario World is the version where you can't use arbitrary code execution, but you can still sure use some other glitches. You know?
Like this. I did this.
Right. You did this. He's doing this. No way this is fucking intended.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with that, actually.
Like, that's like,
Right.
is that
and how
allowed
do
in a no
you-
glitches category?
Right. I did it accidentally.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, that's my point. Is just that like that's why no glitches categories don't tend to exist, because then the community has to agree on what's considered a glitch, which is a
Maybe-
hard thing.
Maybe the problem is trying to define a broad category instead of handling it case by case.
Right,
think
which is exactly why they handle it case by case.
Right.
Why no major
and the,
glitches
and-
rather
and
than
so the
no
community
glitches.
has decided that leveling up is not a glitch.
Right,
As far-
exactly.
Right, okay.
Right. Well, or even just the community has, on a case-by-case basis, determined we need a category for when you play the game without these two major glitches that have now kind of defined how,
What's wrong with
like,
me?
most speedruns play the game,
Right. Right.
which is door ferrying and scroll walking, right? These two things have created a situation in which you're now playing the game in a way that is kind of
Right.
not playing the game, really.
Right. It's like putting a restriction on yourself, like only using swords in a game or whatever.
Or
Like, if
like,
you frame
yeah,
it that
seeing how
way.
few A presses you can do
Exactly.
something in, you know?
Yeah.
But
but
it
not even like
exists
that.
because
Oh my god.
but it exists because there's people
Fuck
who want
you.
to.
Fuck you, Barba.
This Barba is dead.
What's the time? So green.
Oh.
But like
Let's
this is
go.
the reason that these categories end up existing is because there's a desire to see people playing the game in the way that we're watching right now at their
Right.
like at their best, but
Right.
without like completely bypassing half of the game. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
which in
I-
a way is why 100% categories exist.
Yes, that I get, and like I definitely like I think this was the run I was most excited to watch because this is what we
Carrot
did,
can't even kill
or
this
like
run.
this is what I
Yeah,
would
that
have
was
been.
kinda slow,
no, I
though.
shouldn't
That
even say
was-
capable of. This is the
Gonna
route
say
I
20
took.
seconds or something.
Yeah, exactly.
said
This
root.
is the gameplay.
This is the route I
Um,
took,
Hey, Ender, good morning.
kind of.
Yeah,
You know,
and it's
you know what I
exists.
mean.
It's fun to see the any percent like
Whoop.
stuff. Like it's fun to see that, but also like sometimes the game you
getting
just
hard.
want to see how people are doing it their best.
Yeah. This is. You're right. There's something about. Okay, so I don't know if I've talked. I've definitely talked about playing Rocket League as like kind of a brainless activity for me. Zoom Zoom Cargo Fast. There's also a ton of technical stuff, obviously, because it's a video game, and every video game you get people. And watching the people who are really good at it explain why they're doing something is like listening to a sports commentator. And it's entertaining.
Yes. It's cool to see people who just get it on a level that you don't.
Yeah. And it helps in terms of, like, I don't know, thinking about something for a week and then I'm not going to think about it again.
Yeah, like, I played a lot of Hades. I was not aware until recently the exact specifics of the Hades meta, what things are considered good and bad, what, like, is considered, like, good combinations by the community, and some things I picked up on myself, right?
Right.
There's some things that are obvious, but, like, knowing what is the consensus and what strategies are generally considered for, like, the best.
All I know
and
is
Hades is a really balanced game, so, like,
yeah.
you don't necessarily need to know that stuff in order to progress, but it's interesting to know that stuff to see people at the top of their game talking it through.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like in
Oh, thank
Smash
you.
where
Oh my
it
God.
doesn't matter who you play until
Jumped
you're
over the
playing
flame.
competitively.
Yeah, and to maybe a smaller degree, in some cases it does. I mean, I know that in Brawl I was wrecking shit with Meta Knight, because as I said to all of my friends, Meta Knight is fucking busted. Not knowing that the Brawl scene considered Meta Knight so busted that they nearly banned him at several times.
But
I
I don't think Meta Knight was like the top. I think it was it Bowser?
Yes, he was. Meta Knight was like unequivocally the best character in Brawl specifically.
Really? Because there was
go.
a specific exploit I remember. Okay, I've said the word exploit. I've cornered myself. There's a specific technique that happened in Brawl that made a character that I was like, oh wow, I can't believe this character. I think it's Bowser. I think it was it Mewtwo King playing Bowser in Brawl? No, I think maybe it was Mewtwo King playing Bowser in Smash 4?
Uh-huh. Maybe. I'm gonna link you to the Super Smash Bros. Brawl tier list. I'll link this in the chat.
I will say I miss when Ivysaur was the best
Yeah, the run doesn't
character
start until Dark Link.
in Smash in Project M, if you have ever played Project M.
I've never played Project M, but I know there are people who have, who like it a lot. But
Yeah,
no, this is the Smash Bros. Brawl tier list. Like, as you can see, Meta Knight is considered pretty busted. And that's the sort of thing that I could pick up on just playing the game casually. But in a lot of these cases, you really can't because there's not actually that much of a difference.
Right. Yeah.
But at the high levels, every difference counts.
Wow. You really did not have to do anything to get past that thing.
Yeah, sometimes, I think the thing that I'm learning in this is sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
can just, if you
keep
just get the
walking.
angles on it, you can just kind of go.
We are in the final. We're almost done. This is
Yeah, we're
almost
in the final
end.
stages. Are there any takes you have specifically after having watched all of this?
Something that I wish I had used more of, and that I kind of got the sense of, but I don't think ever like was like
Yes.
aware enough to like use it as
Not
a
kidding me
technique.
this time. Scott,
Scott!
They named it? Is this a
They
thing?
named it!
might as well.
I hope this
Scott!
isn't just the streamer. I hope this is like a community thing that this specific enemy in Zelda 2 is called Scott.
I really hope so too, because this is so funny.
Oh, that's
Also,
super
can I
good.
just say, he is been plotting his
level.
level ups. Look,
Yeah.
he has 2 level ups left, so that he will be at 888 by the time this game completes after doing the last crystal.
Oh my god.
He just has to get this 2500, which he'll get from the boss.
Oh.
I think that's what he's doing, or at least maybe he'll get a substantial portion from the boss, and the rest he'll get from some other enemies along the way. But he has prepped himself to get to 888
Life 4 out of
with
it,
that
I'm
last
gonna save
crystal,
time on that
just in
stuff.
time for Dark Link.
He can't gain more experience. It's not going up.
What do you mean?
Like, he's not gaining experience when he kills enemies.
He's not killing any enemies.
None? Oh, okay.
He has not killed a single enemy.
Alright. I haven't been
Good
paying attention.
firebirds, yeah.
He has not killed a single enemy since the last time his XP went up.
I
I don't soft lock Thunderbird, you know, when I cast Thunder.
Oh, is there a soft lock with Reflect?
Reflect? Is it reflecting?
Nice.
Of course. God, that makes sense.
Yeah, see, watch. Oh, it only goes up to 1,000.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how is he going to get these last levels? Unless that's not
I
part
don't think
of
you can
the
get
100%.
888.
You don't have to get 888? That's not part of 100%?
I think this might be the max.
Well, 888 is the max.
Oh, you're right. I guess you could like
He's Darkling. Don't be a jerk.
you could
We're coming up to the end here. We're nearly at the end of the run.
Yeah,
He's
we
about
are
to
under
he's
a
about to
minute.
call time.
Yeah, I guess 888 is not part of 100% in this.
Oh,
Done.
holy.
Minus
He
3
got a
seconds.
gold split on the last one.
Oh, wow. Minus 13 seconds.
Very cool. Yeah, get that thumbs up in there.
Oh,
Oh, look at all the
13.
chat going off. That's so cute.
Double GG. Okay, I see. So new record is -3,
It's a
and new
gold
record for
split,
the
too.
Triforce
That's a pretty
area
good Great Palace.
Well, that's
Let's
yeah.
see,
New
was that a no
record
damage?
is
for
like
this streamer.
his
No
yeah
damage. Oh, hey Ray, thanks for the
like
100
his
bits.
split. I think was -3. That was his split.
Yeah.
But -13 down from the old record. The old record was 1 hour 14 minutes exactly. This is the first what would be called sub 14 run, sub 114 run, because it's the first record under an hour 14, minutes. So this
I really
is
like
this
that
is
GP.
cool.
GP.
In that Valley of Death, yeah, a little bit of time save. 2-second
I don't know-
time save or something.
I don't know what the GP is.
2-second time save. This is what we're talking in.
Yeah, this is what we're talking in.
Thanks for the 100 bits, Slack Canader.
I mean, most like really active speedrunning categories are talking about seconds.
Retirement for
I'm going
6
to,
months.
while this person is talking, I'm just gonna turn them down a little bit while we're
Maybe.
talking.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that is the way to play Zelda 2 the best. Claire, do you feel like if you were to play Zelda 2 now, having seen all of this, do you feel like you would go about it
Right.
any differently?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, I think the thing that I was like going to say was the having iframes when you hit an enemy is something that like I started to get a feel for near the end, but never like really took advantage of.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
I think that
would be a
makes
big
total
thing.
sense.
I think I would I'm not good enough to I was gonna be like maybe I would put more into like damage. But I really don't think I would be good enough to like make that enjoyable, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, what do you mean you'd put more into damage?
Like when
That you
leveling
would
up, I
grind
would put,
more?
instead of choosing health or magic.
Oh, I see. That's fair. I
There's a
do feel like
channel-
I did notice the biggest difference with the magic difference. Like, he was hitting hard, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That felt the most distinct.
Yeah. For watching
That's-
speedruns, there's a channel of I think it's a game journalism site on YouTube where they have game devs watch the top speedrun of their game. It's real interesting.
It's real
That's
interesting. Yeah,
cool.
I think is that IGN that does that, I think.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's really interesting, especially like a lot of the usually the game devs are like kind of like chuckling and laughing and being like, "Yeah, we did not intend for that."
Does that count as a bug then if the dev comes out and says we did not intend for that?
Probably, but also like, so what about a bug that they knew about but didn't take out? Is that a glitch? Is that a bug? Like the
Have they
Melee devs
publicly
came out
said that?
like, well, for example, the Melee devs came out at one point and said, "Yeah, of course we knew about wave dashing. We knew wave dashing was in the game, and
Yeah,
we
how do you
kept it
program
in."
Luigi without knowing about wave dashing?
Right. And so at that point, is wave dashing intended? Obviously, wave dashing not used for speedrunning, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Um, yeah, at that point I would call that a feature.
Yeah.
That I would just like, yeah. If it's like this was intended, then that is part of the game. If it's this wasn't intended, that's not part of the game. I think the problem is that I think what we're talking about are bugs that are uncertain or things that people might try and convince you are bugs. Um,
I think
uh,
the truest thing that I feel like the issue is you can make these declarations. I can make these declarations.
right. But it
Imagine
doesn't
there's
matter.
about like even just 400 people who are really really invested in a particular game and in the playing of that game in particular ways. They're never going to all agree.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
think that
normal and
is
healthy in
yeah.
a community.
I think that is I see your point in terms of like you cannot make a definitive call one way or another on that. However, I think if a developer came out and said this is a bug after a speed run that was like no bugs and like it was, I I I assume that would invalidate the speed run, right?
Probably, but that's why there's no bugs there's not like no bugs categories.
I see. I see. I
Because
see.
because the actual do you want to know the actual truth of how speedrunners do this, Claire? If
Playing
you
game a
look on
lot.
if you no, on most speedrun sites, you will see different categories for different versions of the game. Because
Right.
playing a game on version 1.00 when it had more bugs, more glitches, and an easier time to do some of those glitches where you could do it at the absolute fastest is not considered invalid just because 1.2 came out. Most people run on 1.0 because it is where you can do a version of the game the fastest, right? If you were to do a patch to patch out certain things, speedrunners will ignore that patch, never update their games, and go back to the oldest version of it before you patched it out. Um, Now, sometimes it's different with like an early access versus a full game. Hades does not run still on early access; they run on like full
Yeah,
release.
that's a good point in terms of like making this discussion hard, the idea of early access.
Yeah, and this is why it comes down to community,
Right.
and like group to group, and why there are often debates and discussions. There's been debates on in-game
Yeah.
time versus real time in terms of timing
Mm,
speedruns. There's been debates on like what should be considered for proof. Early on,
right.
videos were not considered necessary for proof because who could record videos, you know? Um,
Yeah.
and like these have all been
How do you
debates
even
that have
prove
gone
that?
on.
Oh, you get
Sorry?
friends. You get people to sign off for you, right? Is that true? Before
Yeah,
videos.
basically, if you're known in the community, people will believe what you say, and you usually provide some proof.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
but like the thing is, there did actually used to be a primary speedrunning platform that um focused only on playing it without major bugs or without abusing glitches, bugs, or exploits. That was called Speed Demos Archive. It was the biggest speedrunning platform for many, many, many years. And people got in fights about it all the time. People were
Ah.
like, there should be glitches allowed, bugs should be allowed. Um, And people left Speed Demo's archive
Uh-huh.
because they
Wow.
wanted the ability to expand, because they didn't like this arbitrary force who really, in many cases, was not invested in any particular game, kind of
Right,
declaring
right.
unilaterally what was or wasn't considered bugs. And sometimes people were just like, well, I want to do it faster with a glitch. And it sucks that there's nowhere that I can be considered as having done it the fastest legitimately just because I used a glitch. Like, I didn't cheat. I used a thing that is in the game to manipulate the game. Um,
That makes sense.
and
Also, good night,
speed.
Fen.
Good night, Fen.
You're gonna miss what
Um,
we're gonna play soon, but that's okay. You
you
wanna
are gonna miss
announce?
that.
Yeah. We'll announce that in a minute.
We'll announce that in a minute. Point is, this is the question of what about, glitches, what's a bug, all that stuff. This is all often discussion and stuff, and what you end up with now, which I think is healthy, is like lots of different categories. It's
Mhm.
complicated.
Yeah.
It's situation by situation, you know.
Yeah. I can
um
see how basically what is considered the speedrunning community, how that comes about from what you've said.
yeah. um and also often there's complicated natures of communities in speedrunning because of things like racism and sexism and misogyny and all this other stuff. Like, that is also a factor here in terms of these fights, but that's all communities, you know. um Anyway, Speed Demo's archive does still exist, by the way, and its
Oh,
tagline is
okay.
playing through games quickly, skillfully, and legitimately.
Ugh.
You still want to know glitches category, Claire?
I feel like there I feel like I mean I do. But like I want that to live alongside the other things. I don't want the speedrunning cops to exist.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. It's tough to have your cake and eat it too in that case.
I think if a community is interested in defining what a bug is, and there's like I don't know how you vote on that. I don't know how you even like I see the problem. There is no way that is like fair, but I guess yeah, you just do this is what exists is you just do subcategories of what people consider bugs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
All right, I see where you're going. I see it
Yeah.
now. Thank you.
Yeah, this is
You've
my this
convinced me.
is
I hope you've convinced other people too. Maybe
well,
people have
I
different
feel like
arguments.
people who really like speedrunning
No,
or who
you
are
know
interested in
everything, Brianna.
speedrunning.
You're the
Sorry?
most smart. You're the most smart and you know everything.
Definitely not true. And we're going to see that next week when I start playing a game.
Yes, finally, for the first time, I will be able to heckle you.
As I play through our Salty Spotlight for next week.
Uh,
Which
can we take a couple weeks off?
Oh, are we doing a couple of weeks off now, or are we doing it I wasn't sure whether we were doing it before the Salty Spotlight or after.
Both, ideally.
Okay.
We can
Well,
talk
we'll
about
have a
it
couple of
after.
weeks break, but
Yeah.
when we're back at some point, I will be playing through Dendara Trials of Fear edition. This is, I guess, a distinct version. But Dendara Trials of Fear is the game that I will be playing through.
And we'll
It
be doing
is
100% speed run. Just kidding.
yeah, for sure.
First
Just
time speed run. Is that a
uh-huh.
category? You can only
I
try
mean,
once. First attempt speed run category.
yeah, not a category. There
This should be a
are
thing.
categories for like playing from, like, for Metroidvanias, for example, playing through with no bonuses. Like
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Hades played from a fresh file. That is a category,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That
which
makes
is
sense.
harder, it turns out.
It is. It is harder. Yeah. Anyways,
Um
Dendara.
So yes, Dendara, much like Hades and Dead Cells and all these other things, is a Metroidvania game. It is a 2D platformer. Um, it is by a Brazilian company, and I am really excited to play it because I think it's because people say it's really good,
Yeah.
and Uh, it's my style of game. So if
It
there's
is.
any game that I'm gonna be good at in the whole of this of Salt Cravings, it's gonna be this one. I think.
You're really setting
Um,
yourself up with a lot of pressure.
yeah, maybe I'll fail miserably, and that'll also be
And
fun.
that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and we won't feel weird about it.
I
Um,
won't.
I won't either, probably. Um, I will say, um, there is something very funny I want to say about this game.
Uh-huh.
Which is to read the description, just the first sentence of the description of this game.
Yeah, give us the description.
Sure. The world of Salt hangs on the brink of collapse. The
It sure
citizens,
does.
once free spirits, now stand oppressed and isolated, but not all is lost, for out of this ether of fear arises a heroine, a ray of hope. Her name is Dandara. Welcome to a
And
unique
she's
2D
trans.
Metroidvania platformer full of mystical creatures and boundless exploration. Defy gravity as you jump across floors, walls, and ceilings alike. Discover the mysteries and secrets hidden throughout the world of Salt and its diverse array of characters. Empower Dandara for combat and survival against enemies bent on oppression. Awaken Dandara to bring freedom and balance to this directionless world.
I have no idea if this character is trans, but in my heart, this character is trans. If you come from the world of Salt, you are trans.
This makes sense. This makes
I'm
sense to me.
declaring this as true.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah. So we will post when that will be starting. And yeah. I don't know if I have anything else to say. This was fun. I like doing speedrunning and watching together.
Uh-huh.
I've learned
Yeah.
so much about speedrunning tonight.
And I feel like I've learned lots about Zelda too.
Yeah. Uh, do you feel like you would play Zelda 2 if you were with
Never in my
friends?
life.
Never, never in your life. Even
Ah,
okay, wow. Yeah?
I mean, I could.
Let's just switch roles. You can just play Zelda next week.
I might play Zelda 2 if I were to ever try and like play every Zelda game, but that is probably the only
Damn.
context I would play it in.
Yeah. I feel
I just don't
yeah.
know if I'd had fun doing it, you know? That's the thing.
That's fair. That's fair. It's hard.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for me.
That's it for
Bree.
me.
That's it for Bree. That's it for me. That's it for Bree. Good night.
Good night.